This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois, for another round of talks here on the Comic Culture Warrior YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. And another book we want to jump into real quick. I don't want to do so much a review of this book because I think we
just want to touch base
on it. This is the second issue, Secret Warriors, which issue number 1 we thoroughly enjoyed. And
issue 2 is more of the same.
More of the same.
More of the same enjoyment.
Issue number 1, we did a review, and Jonathan Hickman himself was even kind enough to post a link to the review on his website. So thanks, John.
And long story short, it's Baron von Strucker. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
From Hydra is getting Hydra back together. So that's pretty much
getting the band back together.
Yeah.
Right.
Towards the end.
But if you read the first Secret Warriors, you realize that the old Shield infrastructure was part of Hydra.
Right.
It's revealed that all along Hydra has always had its Shield was just a tentacle of Hydra, or at least that's the way in the story it's being set up to be. That can be retconned at any time.
And there's only Nick Fury and his team was only in here for a few pages, but they touch on that, like how Nick Fury feels about Hydra being having control over Shield, and he's not very happy about it. But he pretty much says retribution is coming and we're going to fix things now.
Well, I mean, the whole idea of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of being corrupt has been a theme that's been going on for a while in the Marvel use. So for the longest time, people thought it was because of the Skrulls, that the Skrulls would be the ones to blame for the corruption in S.H.I.E.L.D. And since that wasn't totally the case, now they're saying, hey, let's make the idea of Hydra. But anyway.
And actually, they kind of get into that book that we're not going to review. But they touch base on that in the New Avengers reunion that came out this week with Mockingbird and Hawkeye.
Okay.
Or Ronin. They actually talk about that. In Mockingbird talks about who they replaced from S.H.I.E.L.D. In order to make it corrupt. So they actually touch base on that in that book, and that was really good. David Lopez art was really nice.
Okay. Well, in either case, what is it about Secret Warriors 2 outside of the story that brings it to our attention? Secret Warriors, you look at the credits page and you see Secret Warriors created by Brian Bendis and Alex Maleev. Now, this is not an Icon book.
Right.
Okay? It's a Marvel book.
Right.
And Brian Bendis is creating is the title within the main the main Marvel continuity with a majority of these are already established characters. I mean, Nick Fury, he didn't create Nick Fury, but I know all the kids.
But it's the Secret Warriors team.
But
here's the thing with the Secret Warriors is that they're all kids of existing Marvel characters.
Right.
So without those Marvel characters, these new characters could not exist. And yet, I don't see this practice being carried through with other characters. Like, you do not see Fantastic Four created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby on the books. You don't see Spider-Man created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Is this something that heralds a new policy at Marvel, or are they just doing that to placate Brian Bendis and Alex Maleev? In truth be told, I think it was Mighty Avengers. There was like the one issue, and then Alex Maleev just happened to draw that issue too. And Alex Maleev he's an alright artist. I kind of like him.
I really like him.
And he's not the most detailed guy.
No.
All right, and for Alex Maleev to create the characters, it's like, okay, so he created the character Druid, who is like a little fat kid who wears like a Druid cloak. The character designs in here by by Stefano Caselli are much more detailed than Alex Maleev's versions of those characters.
Right. And yet Maleev gets the full credit.
Right,
for
which I don't really understand because he's, like I said, he's not very detailed and he's not very specific. But anyway.
So I guess, but to the point is, now, I just find that a little interesting. I find it interesting that has that in there. Yeah. The created by. That is something you've seen, in the DC books. Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. You see Batman created by Bob Kane, although Bill Finger should be should be in there, but he's not. He's not for political reasons. I'm gonna ask the Marvel folks: Are you going to do this with all the Marvel books? I mean, because really, there are a lot of artists out there. There are a lot of creators in the history of Marvel that don't get this type of recognition.
Right.
Yeah, everyone knows that the Fantastic Four were created by Jack Lee and Stan Kirby, or at least Jack Lee, Stan Kirby, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
But you think you'd have the respect enough to have
exactly.
that in the book, and that's kind of what the DC thing is.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, you pay homage to those who came before you.
Well, I think the DC, the Superman thing, they had to go to court for that. Right. They had to go to court for that. But with comic books especially,
right? And on top of that, in the DC, when they do movies like the Batman movies,
right.
like every artist or writer who had anything to do with the stories that they drew from, they got some money.
Right.
So they even paid those creators from the money that they made from the movies, because that's just how they respect it. I don't know if Marvel does that with their characters.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
So, and yeah, I don't understand why this is in there.
I think to me, it's back to, I mean, I hate to point fingers, but it's Brian Bendis again. And I'm not denying the man. The guy has had a lot of impact in the Marvel books right now. He writes the top-selling books for Marvel right now.
Yeah.
And he deserves all the credit he can get. But now, if you're going to set this precedent here, you have a lot to make up now. Yeah. You know, all these other books and all these other creators deserve the same type of recognition.
Yeah, so I just don't understand. Again, the Secret Warriors characters, and even you can't have the Secret Warriors book probably without Nick Fury, and
right.
He had nothing to do with Nick Fury. Again, he took a bunch of kids who were just offshoots of old characters.
Right.
So why don't you go back and talk about the people who created those characters and have them in the credits too? Because unless you're drawing from history,
right.
You're drawing from continuity. And unless you give those people credit also, why are you giving yourself credit?
Right.
Or why is Marvel giving him the credit?
And I'll be honest, whenever I kept hearing Secret Warriors, I thought they were just rebooting New Warriors.
Why don't they just fucking call this thing? It should have just been called Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos.
Yeah. Howling Commandos, or I don't even I like Nick Fury, Agent of Nothing, which is...
Even that is better than Secret Warriors.
Agents of
Warriors.
Nothing, right.
Yeah,
New Warriors. It just confuses me, so that's just me.
Yeah.
But beyond that, book's still cool.
The book is awesome.
The book is awesome, so... well, Bendis haters. Yeah,
it's not really so much hanging on Bendis. I want to know just if Marvel did that and why they're doing that. They don't pay homage to the guys who came before him, but all of a sudden he gets his name in his
Bendis
credit. I just want to know.
Yeah, same here.
What's the deal?
Someone tell us. We'll leave it at that. And we'll see you in the next segment.